she was 5 when she got diagnosed. And so just imagine getting a call at 12 midnight that your daughter is really sick, she can't even walk. And then they did a blood test and they said, oh, she's got sickle cell.
1 year of age, I was brought into hospital and they were able to get a diagnosis that I actually had sickle cell anemia. As a kid, I didn't really understand that or fathom that until I became more of a teenager and I kind of understood a lot more about my diagnosis.
All the time with sickle cell, it's not like anything I did to get sickle cell. So lots of times I'm always like, oh, why me? Why has this happened to me? Because my siblings, they don't have sickle cell either.
Now you may be wondering, what is sickle cell? According to the Center for Genetics Education, sickle cell disease is a group of common blood cells that is inherited from parent to child. The human body is composed of red blood cells that contains protein called hemoglobin. And hemoglobin is responsible for taking oxygen around the body. When your hemoglobins are low, you tend to have what we call sickle cell crisis. And sickle cell crisis, it's responsible for pain around the body, around the joint, around some of the critical parts of your body.
Lower extremities, so my legs and my lower back is where I feel it the most. So the first signs and symptoms, as I've maybe touched on before, is when my eyes get a little bit more jaundiced or yellow. So that's when you can kind of see that a crisis is kind of maybe slowly coming in.
Crisis is like a deep bony pain. Different people have it mainly in different spots, but my bony pain is mainly in my lower back and my knees, and it's like constant. The pain is
Sickle cell disease is something that usually people would be born with. So it's a disorder of the way our red cells are shaped. Most of us have the normal red shape is kind of spherical, but whereas some populations where the sickle cell disease is quite common, the kids are usually would be born with an abnormal shaped hemoglobin or the red cell, which is sickle shaped, and that's why the name sickle cell anemia or sickle cell disease.
Living with a daughter that has sickle cell changes your whole life. Like, you don't do anything for yourself. Everything revolves around her. So it's how she feels, how her week has been will determine how you work around.
I wish and I pray that, that there was no condition that children, not just my child, but any family that are facing health issues with their kids, that they never ever have to go through that. Because you wish anything to take that pain away from them.
The amount of people with sickle cell is 21, which in Africa a lot of people don't get to 21. So sometimes, I have that fear that in me that, okay, what will happen in the next couple of years? So I try my best. I pray a lot. I try my best to do as much as I can every day, every week, every month, because tomorrow is not certain, so I don't know what will happen tomorrow.
And it's because, you've somehow contributed to that because you carry that trait yourself. So, it's not easy, and like I said, there are times when it's hard, and I look at him and I think about that, and other times where I just have to really not dwell on that as well, because it's done. There's nothing that I can do to change the hands of time. He's here.
Within my family, I think it's only my immediate family and only a few outside of that know about my condition. Of, I think, African communities. I think there's so many things that we might think about in terms of how it might happen, if it's maybe a curse or if it's, something bad that the family has done, or if it's, just it's something that's genetic. There are so many things that it expands across.
It doesn't matter if a children is labeled as she's got sickle cell. We are all the same. We are all one. There's blood that runs through everybody's vein and water. It's not because they have that disease that they are different from us.
But I think that it really does need to come down to us educating ourselves and being a little bit more informed about how the pathophysiology of it, the extent of it, so how it comes, how painful it is for individuals as well, and the ways that we can actually go about in ensuring that sickle cell warriors actually feel safe in their communities and feel safe to be able to share their stories.
Sometimes don't look at them and judge them, because sometimes they get judged. Like, I know, like one time they called Sarah the wish kid, which was really sad.
Encourage them to just lead lives as normal, so kind of to be as active and as fit, eat well, drink well, exercise as you would otherwise do. And I wouldn't stop yourself from doing anything just because you have sickle cell, because we do have good medications that they have access to at the moment, like hydroxyurea is one of the most important drugs that we use at the moment. But again, in the longer run, there are going to be better things that are going to be around the corner. And as long as we continue to keep our kids well, they will probably have options to use some curative treatments in the future.
To keep pushing through, keep going, no matter what, because I feel like with me personally, I always just wanted to stop and soak and sit in the moment whenever I had a crisis. But just keep going, keep doing what you love, keep doing anything that you can. When you don't have your crisis pain, just keep living your life.
On the dark side of it, I know how painful it is, but be strong for your children. You be the role model for them. Whatever you can do for them, do for them. Whatever it takes you to make them happy, make them happy. Because the biggest thing is, especially when they're growing up, it's the emotion support that they need. Because if they see you as their mom or their parent that is very emotional, that is what the kids are going to get, because that's the seed you are sowing. But I always try to tell them that there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
It's a patient organization. What we emphasize on is just supporting people with, it doesn't have to be financial, but it's just the comfort and knowing that there's somebody who knows and who cares. Because what we went through, myself and the people who started this organization, we saw that at the time when we just wanted even information, there was none. So we decided to start this organization on the basis that we will be there for people with sickle cell disease and their families. And a lot of us have found us through that way. We are very big on social media. So a lot of people find us through social media or through introduction by the hospital.